It may have taken 9 long years of development and most of one global pandemic to get here, but finally the all-new mid-engined 6.2 litre V8 Corvette Stingray is upon us. Quite some car it is too. Not least because even in more expensive convertible form, it costs just £82,150. And for the first time in its 68-year history, it will be available in right-hand drive. Now, we've already driven the new Vette in coupe form in the States on a track and found it to be more than just a little bit tasty. Here though, we drive it in Europe for the first time, still in left-hand drive but in full Euro specification, and on the roads of the Adenauer Forest, the ones that surround quite a famous German racetrack. So what's it like? Good enough to worry a Porsche 911? Sharp enough even to mix it with the McLaren? Well, let's see.
It's a very difficult car not to like, is the new C8 Corvette, especially the convertible. Because I've driven the coupe in the States and I have to be honest, I can't tell a great deal, if anything at all, in terms of difference dynamically between the convertible and the coupe. But that is because they made the coupe and the convertible right from the word go. So they kind of eradicated all the potential pitfalls that you normally get when you take the roof off a car. And the result is just, it's dead cool, this car. I really do like it an awful lot. They've always been quick, they've always been muscly, they've always been really exciting and really good to listen to, but this has got an air of sophistication to it that no previous Corvette has ever had, as far as I'm concerned, on the move. You have to presume that that is because the engine is back there this time, not up there.
The dry sump V8 is still bursting with character, but its outputs are down a touch in European spec, due, yes, to emissions. It's got 475 bhp and 452 pounds-feet of torque. But in both cases, those peaks are slightly lower than they are in US spec versions.
It's kind of in Cayman GTS, Box the GTS territory, not just in terms of price, but in terms of performance as well. 0 to 16, 3.5, because it's got launch control. Top speed 184, I'd say 0 to 100 in about 9-ish. There is one thing though about this new Corvette that they've kind of kept to themselves a bit. This car weighs 1,775 kilograms. For a 2-seater mid-engine sports car, that is a lot. It disguises its weight well, but it does ultimately feel like quite a big old wagon, does the Vette, and that's a bit of a shame.
Although that includes a full tank of fuel, it's still chunky beside a 911 or an Audi R8, not to mention a 718 Cayman or Boxster GTS.
Great gearbox in the new Corvette, 8-speed dual clutch, and it works really well. It's got a real snap to it. Delicious torque, and no turbos, so you get immediate response from the throttle. It's one of these cars that the throttle feels, your brain feels hardwired to the crank and therefore the rear tyres. The response is that crisp. It doesn't absolutely tear towards the horizon when you put your foot through the floorboards. It feels very quick rather than crazy fast. And I quite like that. Anyone with a bit of petrol in their veins will like the new Corvette. Will love the new Corvette, I bet. But there are just a couple of things that you spend a bit more time with it and think, why does that have to be like that? One of which is this rotational dial. You've got, as you have with an awful lot of stuff nowadays, various different modes, and you change those modes very easily by rotating this switch down here. But my goodness me, the springing in this thing, you feel like you're going to break your wrist just changing the modes. I'm also not absolutely convinced by the steering or by the steering wheel. I do not like these flat-topped, flat-bottomed steering wheels, because when you want to put a bit of you-know-what on, which you do, it does do that kind of stuff rather well, especially when it's wet. But when you want to do that, I kind of lose where I am with the steering wheel, and I don't feel very comfortable. But just the steering itself it's good, it's accurate, it's precise, but it doesn't bubble with feel beneath your fingertips. What does work really well though are the brakes. Tons of feel. And the gearbox. Already talked about the gearbox, but I can't overstate how good it is. That noise as well. I mean,
UK cars will come in 2 trim levels, 2LT and 3LT, both with what Chevrolet calls the Level 1 aero package. The 3LT test car also rode on 20-inch Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tyres and had the bigger Brembo brake upgrade and a standard fit limited slip diff, which did help give it serious traction.
there is of course one other trick that you do with the convertible, and that's this, which you can do on the move up to about 30 miles an hour, I suppose. And when you do put the roof down, it's pretty good. I'm not sure the wind management is just as good as it is in, say, a Mercedes convertible, but I'm not really having to shout. There's a bit of ruffling around the top, which brings me to another slight flaw. I think the driving position is fundamentally good, but I feel like I'm sitting a bit too high behind the wheel. I want to get lower in these sport seats. There's three types of seat. This one's the middle spec. You can get a comfort seat, sort of middle sporting seat, and almost a full-blown bucket seat, which I'm not sure you'd want in this car. But it is a lovely thing to hoon around in with the roof off. You can't really stop doing this when you're driving a Corvette on a road like this on a Sunday morning. It's just a cracking good car, it really is.
Even if you don't get on with the way it looks, you'll mostly love the way the new Corvette drives. And if you do like what you see, and most people do when they encounter this car in the flesh, well, the rest is very easy to fall in love with. And yes, there's even a hybrid version in the making, just in case you were worried. Right now though, the new Corvette deserves your full attention and then some. For us enthusiasts, it's just that kind of a car. Now, we couldn't drive the new Corvette in Germany and not see what it could do down an autobahn, and there's a rather nice, quiet stretch of A1 just up the road from the Nürburgring.
Alright then, how quick is the new C8 Corvette in a straight line, absolutely flat out, down an autobahn? I'm not sure, but I'm about to find out. Fifth gear, top of fifth, into sixth. 155, 157, 59, 62, 165, 168, 173. 182, 7 at